Our sexual immaturity as a nation is a whole other topic, but a gay sex tape featuring Namibian news anchor Leonard Witbeen on an international porn site was on the lips of many this week. The burning question is how the video made it onto the porn site. It has since emerged that there are quite a few videos of this nature featuring Leonard Witbeen, and my efforts to get his side of the story proved futile. I spoke to the LGBTI advocacy group Outright Namibia's Linda Baumann and asked her to share her sentiments on NBC News anchor Leonard Witbeen's porn saga.
Well, I think for me the first thing is, what is important is to understand that Leonard is a role model to many people in this country, and it's important to look at that as one angle. The other thing that also leveled him, he's one of our role models in the LGBTI community too. And those are pyramids that hold him very high and also he's a community member who is involved in community issues. So he's quite a spectrum and a cocktail of great success of our movement. And I think it's important for us to acknowledge that. So when this saga came out, for myself personally, it has taken me aback because that is one, it's the right to privacy invasion. And I don't know or care about who put it out there. I think the fact that the way it went out, it's evident it went spiral and viral to an extent that the persons who are involved have not had consent when that message reached my phone. So I think those are key things to look at. But beyond that, just the whole thing around porn, we can't even regard it as porn because it went to a porn site. Because if that has happened in their private setting, whether the two people consented to the action of recording is still their own business. Whoever put it out there has violated the two individuals in the video. So that is a right to privacy violation. Now, obviously, the fact that that video went out so virally and the fact that Leonard is the prominent face in there and the tag is around his life obviously impedes on his personal, professional, and also reputation in the society of this country, and that speaks a lot. And that is why I can understand that for some people it has created a different image of what they've seen and have been following of this person who's a role model to them. That's one first thing. And the second thing for me has to do with him being gay, because this is now perceived to see that gay people are recording people without their consent. Secondly, it's a great backlash to us as the queer community, because you should have seen the amount of homophobic statements that are made, but also questions that have been asked directly if we do not trim our leaders to know what to do and what not to do in public. So that initially has a great impact. Then the last end for me has to do with the impact on Leonard's family, because for me, that also plays a big role about their child being in the spotlight and their child being out there. As much as he's grown, you're still somebody's child. And I think for me, that is another discourse to battle with. I mean, Leonard has already gone through a lot of layers. And I'm thinking he is a queer person that you come out, you have to deal with your families, and now something like this comes out, you have to deal with both angles around it. And that speaks a lot about the struggles that he's going through. His professional life is also compromised completely. But I think Leonard is not unique to this story. There's so many stories that are around this country that of porn that has been leaked around, and it has come and it is gone. There are some people that are interpreting him as a hero, and there are those that are really disgusted. And I think we need to find the thin line around those realities of exposure and the fact that he was probably not involved in releasing it, but he was involved in the recording, which is a different issue. And I think for me, this is where I feel as a community we need to embrace what has happened, and I think Leonard has done that. And I think it's important for us to also to look at because that video also speaks around issues of safety when it comes to health and HIV. I mean, I'm not going to deny not watching it because I needed to understand what the hell is going on. And surely, both parties and parties of the other videos have not taken precautions. And I think that's completely irresponsible of both parties to have intercourse without taking precautions. And also knowing that you do not have a relationship with this person, and probably is a once-off or whatever, it's a relation with continuous segments of interludes. But I think those things are key because those videos have been looked at and people are trying to understand what initially people are thinking when they indulge into sexual practices that do not protect themselves and their partners that they're involved with. So I think for me, we need to take this as a community as a line for us to grow, but also for Leonard to realize that, or any other LGBT person, or any person in this country, for them to realize that recording your private issues and getting it land and having it land in somebody else's hands is bound to come out. That's what technology is all about. It is one click away and your life is on rock bottom. And I think for me all he needs to do is to be able to embrace. People have gone through a lot of things, and this will also he will get over it. But I'm hoping that this is a great lesson learned, but also for those that have watched it, to realize how to take care of their own lives and their well-being, because it's not only about them, it's about the people that they're associated with, it's about the people that they love, but also the people who look up to them that they have direct and indirect contact with. And that's what I think is needed now. But we shouldn't be expecting, or the community shouldn't be blaming all gay people in the same rake because of that sexual practice. And we shouldn't also look at that as that both parties are homosexual. It's a sexual practice, and a sexual practice happens, and do not mix Leonard's sexual orientation or gender identity thereof as if he's the one luring and practicing and having an alignment of advancing homosexuality in the country. People make their own decisions to involve and indulge themselves into sexual practices that initially gets them to where they are. Self-gratification is one of the things that we all have as people. And if you find it with a person of the same sex, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it makes you gay. But if the other party identifies as gay, that's their identity. But sexual practices are sexual practices.